Yo, what is going on? It is your boy Kevin V on for my Sunday stream, baby. What's going on? Hope you're having a good Sunday. Working with my G5H with a GH5 today. So this guy recently got a new camera, so we're pretty with that. And looks like now my microphone sounds like it's working right now. Perfect. Um, yeah, so basically I'm just doing an open Q&A today. Let me open up the comments, moderate my comments over here with the new functions. Here we go. Cool. Perfect. Looks like I'm running. If you guys want to make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, that'd be great. Can you guys hear me now? Is it working now? Fuck. Hold on. How about now? Okay, cool. Looks like I'm back up. Thanks for the likes. Appreciate it, y'all. Anyways, yeah, so today's my weekly stream. So I wanted to share some stuff with that I'm currently watching, some things that have been currently helping me out a lot. Some cool things. I've actually been watching Alex Becker a lot and really doing a dopamine detox, and just like really focusing on the most important things. I actually cut out a lot of my projects recently, so I'm only focusing on my kick-ass investing. Started building out websites, building out, making the course even better. So 2.0 should be out very soon, and also my clients as well. I kind of put everything else on hold. I'm still doing blog posts, still doing the weekly hustle. So if you're not already, subscribe to refugeehustle.com slash join, and you can sign up for my weekly newsletter. Have a pretty good newsletter this week. Well, yeah, I have a pretty good one this week. I'm actually working on my ultimate office desk setup as well, because a lot of people have been asking me, hey Kevin, what kind of a desk setup do you have? Yeah, walking desk and all that. Been helping me focus a lot more as well. And this oh yeah, so Brad is wondering, what is a dopamine detox? And let me just go to Alex Becker for a really quick second. So if you go on his website, really, or his YouTube channel, this guy, man, I used to get targeted for his ads 24/7, but nowadays, like if you watched him before, he used to have all these like videos with the Lambo in the back, kind of like was all like very Ty Lopez-y and whatnot as well, right? But as of I think earlier in this year, oh yeah, starting this video about 4 months ago, beginning of this year, he actually sold everything to live in a very minimalistic, like he basically sold everything, and he's really interesting guy. He sold everything to live in a minimalist apartment. He sold his car, his Lambo, everything, and he barely has anything in his apartment. And since moving into this new apartment, I've been trying to do the same thing, to a new level though. And then basically, he has this concept of dopamine detoxing, which is like, okay, uninstall, anything that kind of not gives you pleasure, but there's a lot of things that distract you from life. So from like everything, installing YouTube, social media, like going on nofap, all these things, eating pretty bland foods, it's almost like living like a monk and just really focusing on the key essentials as well, like of life, and just really dialing everything down to focus on the most important things in life that are going to help you further your goals and whatnot as well. So yeah. Setson says, I liked last week's newsletter. You got good taste in rap. Yeah, I know. I haven't been like thanks for the likes, by the way, but I haven't really been diving into rap too much. But I've been listening to that new ADHD album periodically, right? So I've been listening to a lot of that. I don't know, I kind of like the whole dark rap and stuff. It just gets me in a very good mood to start working and start working on things. I would say, yeah, my like if I were to show you last week's, I'm not going to show you this week so far, but if I were to show you last week's, kind of like what I've been like what kind of content I send in, it's almost like very similar to Tim Ferriss's. Let me zoom in on this as well, Just give me a second. All right. Yeah, so this it's kind of like a recap of like what I'm going through, like things I'm watching, reading, thinking, bought this week. And so usually I'll have like affiliate links and stuff like that, but it gives you a really good breakdown about what I'm reading, what I'm thinking about all this panic. This one I spent a lot of work on it as well, but it gives you everything that I'm pretty much up to. So I think it's a cool recap of what I'm thinking as well, because I'm always looking at different tools, different hacks to make my life a little more efficient and all that as well, and things. Rexon says, "All hail Gracie Jiu-Jitsu." So funny, man. Jiu-Jitsu is like the last thing that I'm working on in my life. I really miss it a lot. The whole COVID thing doesn't really scare me with the whole Jiu-Jitsu thing, but man, I really do miss Jiu-Jitsu because even in this week's weekly hustle, um, I was talking about how, compared to powerlifting, because I did do powerlifting for a little bit, never competed but trained, like did 531, ran it multiple times, got I wasn't the strongest in the world, but compared to like something like jujitsu, your skills are always growing, 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 and with like in times like these, you can still better your jujitsu, not necessarily physically, but map out the game plan a lot more. I would say jujitsu is one of those sports where it constantly uses your mind, and you have to keep on thinking about how to advance your game. What I thought I was poor and depressed all the time. Turns out I was doing a life long dopamine detox. You know what's really interesting about dopamine detoxing though? It's actually been helping me be a lot more productive. So I've been able to have days where I just work straight. I actually don't eat throughout the most of the day. I actually did a 48-hour fast last week too. And I've been doing pretty hardcore intermittent fasting. I'm trying to increase the intervals, trying to get back up to 24-hour day fasts again. So one of the hard rules that I set this week was not to eat whatsoever while I'm working. And it's only after when I finish work that's when I'm allowed to eat. So it's really interesting, man. Uh Armor Ghost says, "Do you think the American view of being independent is overrated?" I'm not quite sure, man. I haven't really, like, when it comes to politics, I don't really have that much of an opinion, so no, not really clue. No, not much of a clue, but for me, I consider myself independent, like an independent thinker and whatnot as well. Like that's my technically my political party, because I mean, there's things I like about both. I don't think you should just be confined to just one thought. I'm always very kind of contrarian, trying to question everything that comes on my plate. Also, all jokes aside, I'm gonna give detox a try. I never considered it before. It actually really helped. Seriously, I can't find my phone. Like, I put on like I put on a porn blocker. I also removed YouTube. And even the first day of doing something like a dopamine detox, I found myself like checking my phone. And I was like, holy crap, I go on YouTube a lot. And that is one thing I just need to completely cut out. And so I've been really going hard with the dopamine detox. I actually shot a video at the end of my 48-hour fast as well. And it's surprisingly gave me a lot of clarity, like where I want to take this channel. Probably just going to keep it more of a personal channel rather than try to sell anything on here. I thought I was always trying to figure out a way, but honestly, I think it's just better if it just stays personal, and I just do that, and create businesses on the side, which was, I think it keeps it kind of pure as well, and really fulfills that um that creative side within me as well. So that's what that's what I've been up to. Um, Also really interesting stuff, you guys. I wanted to show you this. I thought it was pretty funny. Well, not funny, but kind of fucked up about how fucked up politicians can be sometimes. Hey, come on. Let's zoom out. Hold on for a second. Cool. Right. You guys see this? Now you should see it. Nevada governor found hoarding hydroxychloroquine after banning drug. Just shows you really, really funny stuff, or pretty sad stuff, but there's still, I mean, your politicians are not freaking saints either, man. They're people too, and they're panicking. They're trying to hoard stuff, even though that there's not that much evidence of hydroxychloroquine really helping with COVID-19 and all that. So it's just really interesting. Did you see the video of the 1 year old birthday party being in LA being broken up? Freedom is great until you have people uh think shelter in homes is vacation time. It's really interesting because one thing that I haven't really been seeing as well is actually people talking about free speech. I know it's not the primary focus of a lot of people right now in terms of what's going on. Safety is number one. That's the number one thing. But I'm kind of curious about how this is going to affect our country, especially when it comes in terms of free speech, social gatherings, all that. Um, and at what point, like I wonder if things are really going to change, and I'd be very very cautious about what's happening right now as well. By the way, if you can, make sure to smash the like button so more of this video gets spread onto internet as well. Um, let's see. Jayhawk has a pharmacy update. Masks are shipping to Walgreens stores for staff use this week. Not sure if this because more are available or guidance from the government's changed. You know what's really interesting? There's a lot of rumors. Even my landlord, I saw him today. He was just saying like in LA, and I'm not sure this is true. I was trying to Google it. I didn't see anything, but there's like a lot of rumors where it's like you'll get fined for not wearing a mask, and I was like, really? Is that necessarily true? I wouldn't think that would be true just because there's a shortage on a lot of masks, and guess what? Like those paper masks and cloth masks, they don't do jack shit against COVID-19 or any of that sort of stuff, right? Because some people just forget that these are very small. Viruses are super, super small. It can just pass right through unless it's an N95 mask or anything like that. So I just, I see people walking around with masks all the time. I'm just like, okay, I get it. You know, I understand why, but we also have to not we have to not trick ourselves into doing something that's not really effective as well too. So it's just interesting, man. But politics, I meant Americans people that view should move out to support themselves rather. Oh, I meant wait. I meant Americans view that people should move out and support themselves rather than staying with only family. Uh, no opinion, I guess, really, with that. I guess. Let's see. I don't I don't see too many people taking the lockdown very seriously. I wonder what will happen to the economy in a few weeks though. I'm actually quite concerned. Not concerned to a point where like I'm not I'm I'm a little concerned with the economy as well. I'm wondering how much more of a hit we can take, especially if we continue lockdown as well. Um, I'm just concerned about the brick and mortars out there, but it really goes to show you. Like, I think this will be the end of that industrial era. I think there will be a huge push to go more remote jobs, but things like as a server or anything like that, it really shows you the vulnerability of like in-person jobs as well. So I think we're going to see even more of a push for things to go digital as well. So interesting. Um, Jay asked me what are my thoughts. Does it scare me? Um, I wouldn't. I mean, as far as like, does it scare me? Not really. I mean, if you get it, you get it, right? You just can only control what your level of exposure. But at the same time, I'm not gonna like I'm not reckless where I'm going onto the beach, but if I want to go grocery shopping, I'm not gonna let it stop me or grab a coffee down the street. I'm not gonna let it stop me. I'm not gonna live in fear like that, you know. So that's the number one thing as well, right? But I don't. It doesn't really scare me for the most part. People didn't forget viruses are small enough to go through mass. They just don't really know in the first place. That is true. Um, you know, and I think people just want the feeling knowing that they're doing something, the thought that they have control over something. That that's what really why people are using the mask and whatnot. But I don't know. I mean, it really goes to show you that a lot of the general public, they don't really like, people don't question a lot, right, about what they're told. And I think ever since I don't know, ever since I've kind of gone down this like life of alternative living and whatnot, I question everything, right? I always ask ourselves like, why are we doing this? Is it really necessary as well? So um masks may help keep us from touching our face. I don't see a benefit otherwise either, right? Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that people shouldn't wear masks, but I don't want people to fall under the kind of um like thinking that they're fully protected just because they wear a mask, right? As well. I think the CDC now recommends masks wherever you go. Let's check that. I'm kind of curious about why the CDC recommended that. Maybe there's like a secondary benefit, right? As well. So I don't. I'll be honest, man. I don't even look at the numbers in terms of corona and all that sort of stuff, right? So looks like I'm going on to the CDC website as well. Uh, use a cloth face coverings to help slow the spread of COVID-19. I wonder why though. Maybe it's because like maybe it's more of a psychological benefit where it's like, you see someone with a mask, so then like you tend to want to stay away from them, right? Maybe that's it. Um but they're saying face cloth coverings da, 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 da. um It's so funny. I wonder why. They see there's obviously a tutorial and how to use it through, yeah, but I don't see like it doesn't have any justifications like why, I guess, right? People just take it for what it is, but who knows? If they're recommending it, sure. I mean, it doesn't really hurt by wearing a face mask, but does it is a real benefit as well, right? I don't want people like hoarding all the supplies. Because here's the thing, right? I would not want more demand to go away from like the like pharmacies or hospitals or crucial areas where there's a lot of people high risk, right? A lot of those resources should go there, and I don't know. There's just a huge logistical issue right now as well, right? People are morons. I know someone who's pregnant who's constantly inviting people over to their place. I can't tell if she's stupid or sinister. No idea, but that's not the smartest thing. I like, dude. I'm a digital nomad, essentially a digital nomad. I don't really see that many people in general, but not because I'm antisocial. But man, I'm remote and I haven't seen anyone besides the landlord where I walk out, and even when I do see the landlord, I slip my check and stuff in his door and have pretty much zero interaction. I can't remember last. I'll be honest. I can't remember the last time I saw a good friend or anything like that. It's been that long, but who knows? I feel like the collective IQ of America has dropped a standard deviation where it was 60 years ago. Dude, 60 years ago, the people were freaking raw, like freaking tough. Actually, even the World War II generation, they were tough as hell. They went through some shit. They went through multiple wars. They went through the Cold War. Um, I feel like they just had better street smarts back in the day, and then not sure what happened to our generation, especially with technology. I mean, we've been pretty peaceful for the most part, minus like the war in Iraq and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know, for some reason, like since not everyone has to go, I just feel there's less hardy people out there or less resourceful people recently. Like I've worked with a lot of younger people as well. I find I find this to be the trend too. They're not super resourceful, and it's a huge difference because I talk to older people, like probably people 10 years older than me, work with them, and they're super resourceful. You never really have to guide them too much. Sure, they might not be as techy, but definitely compared to a younger generation, definitely not as resourceful for the most part. What are your thoughts on pharmacy? I have no thoughts on pharmacy, to be honest with you. Like zero thoughts on pharmacy whatsoever. I actually just interviewed a Air Force pharmacist earlier today. Got some really great information from him, and actually reaching out to a few more pharmacy people, just because there's a lot of people on my channel who really want to still go into pharmacy. So if I can cover these different careers in pharmacy, the better, right? Exactly. That's what I don't understand, why they changed their minds. seriously, doesn't Kevin already have dozens of video on that question? Says Armored. Yeah, I do. So I have tons of videos on pharmacy. Freaking yeah. Um, Michael R says, "What headphones are you using?" I'm using the Audio Technica, the M50s. I think they're called the M50s. Let's see, M50X. I think it might be M50X. M50X. Let me take a look really quick. By the way, I've been also creating a community for Refugee Hustle too. I haven't launched it yet, but I'm thinking about launching on Auto. What was this called? On Mighty Networks. I was looking into that. So I've actually had these headphones for a very long time. Like if you take a look at my Amazon store, I bought these back in 2015. I actually had them at the old house as well. It's pretty funny. So I have the ATH M50s. I really like these a lot. These are my favorite. You see these leather things though? I'm not sure if you can see, but actually it's kind of worn out. So that's one of the cons about this headphone, but really, really great headphones in general. So that's what I'm using. There's a couple who thinks they live in the 16th century and wear plague mask outside. Do you think it's possible to open and handle your own pharmacy? Not at. Wait, sorry, I'm having trouble reading this. Do you think it's possible to own and open and handle your own pharmacy as not a really experienced graduate? If not, when was a good moment to do that? So here's the thing. With knowing what I know about business now and trying to roll up pharmacies and all that, I would highly suggest that you do not open up your own pharmacy. With unless you have a dream team, right? If you, like this is where Dan Pena's method, or who he got it from, that guy who did Steel, Andrew Carnegie, right? Having a board, like having someone who's by your side to launch a business who is experienced, that is important. I would recommend, hey, dude, when my friend Jenny launched her pharmacy, she did multiple years. She worked as a staff, she worked as a manager, she worked as a supervisor, so she knew all the financials behind it. And so she was really prepping for it ahead of time. I mean, dude, if you're going to do something, do it right. Don't suffer and risk losing more money opening up something like a pharmacy. And plus, right now with pharmacy, you gotta ask yourself, why do you want to open up another pharmacy? Is it just for money? Because guess what, profit margins aren't doing as well as before. You have to be in a very good niche. And I mean, I keep in mind, I don't know everything about I don't know everything about starting up a pharmacy, but what problem are you trying to solve? And that's really what I think. We're seeing the same things with online businesses where everybody and their mom is trying to launch an online business, right? There's a reason. There's a really good reason why I've always kind of held off launching different offers and so many offers all at once. It's just because I want to make sure it's good. I want to make sure it makes an impact. And by launching another pharmacy in a saturated market, how are you going to stand out? What is your USP, unique selling proposition? So, if Samuel, if you decide not to follow this advice, totally cool. Just make sure that you have someone knowledgeable who's launched several successful pharmacies, and maybe give them a partnership or give them like 10% of your company or something like that as well. So there's that. By the way, we got 7 people who haven't smashed the like button. Make sure to smash the like button, baby. And dude, our Sunday stream is popping today. We got 15 people in the house, baby. You think online outsourcing is going to be a bigger problem if teleworking gets more popular after this stuff? I don't think that. Well, I think it's actually solving a great problem. Like, I think. So I'm not sure. I think my friend Tom told me this, but there is a growing trend for more independent contractors. I actually enjoy being an independent contractor because you get to write off things a lot more. You can be a lot more strategic. Although it's not for everyone, because if you do it wrong, you can end up owing a lot of taxes, right? You have to be pretty responsible, run your own business essentially, right? But I don't think it's necessarily a problem. I think it's actually better for people, right? Doing things online. solves a lot of traffic problems, solve a carbon footprint problem, um and it also removes the need for people to be physically there. You have more freedom, so I think this will be actually be better for a lot of people as we progress, right? uh just call me Jay with these questions. If you think about it, humans are one of the weakest creatures, and nails are useless, and teeth aren't as sharp or fast. I know what you're saying, Jay. Strong. Well, here's the thing. Like, there's a reason. If you look at the evolution of a lot of like monkeys, primates, right? Like, um, they're not as we're definitely not as strong. Like, if you listen to Joe Rogan, they'll be like, freaking baboon will rip your face off, chimps will rip your face off. It happens, right? They're a lot stronger. You cannot physically beat them. But what we have finer motor skills, so we can create tools, like you said. And also, um, there we have finer motor tools, and we obviously can think more intelligently than them, and probably coordinate a lot better. Although they're really smart, they can do some pretty crazy things. But you know, with those two things, we're able to literally blow ourselves up into extinction if we really chose to be honest with you, right? So um Kevin, Dr. Lee says, Kevin, they're paying 134 an hour for COVID pharmacists to help at a field hospital. Ooh, interesting. 134 an hour. That's nearly almost double. That's nearly almost double. I'm sure you're going to be making a lot, but you're going to be paying a lot in taxes as well. Kevin, my wife just asked your age. She's a first time listener. I said not quite 30. I'm actually 32. So it was my birthday maybe about 2 weeks ago, man. Michael says, awesome, thanks. Richard Cheng, MD, a Chinese physician who has personally been treating COVID-19 patients, stated that he used up 50 milligrams of what's ascot if acid, ascorbic acid, IV drip per day on his sickest patients, and has attributed ascorbic acid attributed his patient's recovery to mega dose ascorbic acid. Admin thoughts about the validity of his statement? No, I mean, here's the thing. Like, there's not a lot of. I mean, I know we want to be as evidence based as possible, especially when you're practicing any sort of medicine or anything like that as well. But there's not a lot of there's not a lot of data, so could be true, could not. But I don't know. There's only one. If you think about it, there's only one way to test it. Like, start doing it on more patients. But is it worth it? I don't know. I would. I have no idea. Dr. Lee, Armor Ghost asks Dr. Lee, are you gonna do it? Dr. Lee says, I'm gonna do the remote COVID job safely from my home. Not a hero. Sad face. Um, it goes to show you too, like, here's something you gotta think about too. Like, no amount of pay is worth it if you're gonna die, right? Or if you're, let me rephrase that. If it's not a cause that you're worth, like, it's not worth risking your life unless you truly believe that you truly believe in the cause, right? If really by having more of a pharmacist impact, you believe that you're going to be saving more lives, great. Like, to a lot of people, they would gladly risk their lives to it. For me, if I got paid that much, I don't know. I don't, it's not really the money, to be honest with you, because honestly, I can make more money through what I do right now. But whatever I do, I just want to build some really cool stuff, and I want to work on impactful projects. So I don't know. It really, if somebody would pitch that to me, I would just be like, well, what are we trying to do? What's the level of impact on this project? And that would help me really think of whether it's worth it. Isaac Flores says 50 milligrams of ascorbic acid. Okay. I don't know a lot, but I know Carol Baskins killed her husband's free the I'm going to do the tootsie slide. This is totally futurological. I didn't even know that was a word, by the way. This is totally futurological question, at least for me. What are your predictions on treatment of COVID-19? Let's say big company will find a vaccine or something. Um, well, this is what's probably most likely going to happen. I feel like we're not going to find a vaccine next month. It's going to take probably at least until the at the fastest maybe at the end of the year, right? If they expedite it, I definitely do not want to be one of those first people that tries out the vaccine, because guess what? Like there's always that when you rush something out that quick, you always got to think, okay, adverse reactions, right? Because not everybody's going to respond like well to it as well, right? So I personally, for me, I would hold off on getting any sort of vaccine. So that only helps with the prevent, like it might help with the prevention side, right? But in terms of like if you get it, not quite sure. I haven't even looked at the companies who are researching different drugs and whatnot. I mean, like for like right now, let's take a look at existing drugs and whatnot. I mean, for influenza, there's like Tamiflu, which is like I think 48 hours. You have to take it within the first 48 hours unless guidelines have changed. I have been out of the pharmacy game for a little while, so excuse me if I'm rusty, but I predict that drug companies will probably move something toward like that as well. Um, it's totally possible. I think if we have enough people working on it, eventually we will find something like that. But it's just really time, right? That's why I mean, unless we all die tomorrow, I don't see killing us off. I think majority of us will be fine, right, for the most part. So, uh, at Dr. Lee, don't be a hero. Thank you, Armor Ghost. Yeah, interesting stuff. But in terms of in terms of uh in terms of like Reddit as well, I've been checking out some of the Reddit feeds as well. And I saw this interesting post. Anyone baffled by the amount of people seeking non-essential vaccines during this crisis? The other day, I gave five shingles vaccines. One of them was showing up for a second shot 60 days, exactly 60 days from the first one. Basically, this person was like, these people are not comprehending the seriousness of this pandemic and do not understand the concept of shelter in place. They come unmasked to the pharmacy, but I'll be honest, like I said, like do unless they got N95 masks, does it really, I mean, will that really help? But anyways, I get where this person's coming from for their non-essential shots, and I do not feel comfortable being exposed to them in close quarters in consultation room. I had a lady come in for a flu shot the other day, and she literally said, I usually get the flu shot in March from my doctor, but my doctor's office isn't doing in-person appointments right now, so I came here. Why the fuck do you think your doctor's office isn't doing any in-person appointments? And what makes you think it's okay to turn around to a pharmacy to expose everyone? Fuck you. Corporate is of no support, obviously, and said we have to continue vaccinate everyone that has not provided any PPE. Um, it's gonna be really interesting. I sense like just I hate to say it, but a few pharmacists need to either get severely hospitalized and almost die or whatnot, and really, I sense a upcoming lawsuit for these pharmacy chains. In my opinion, they haven't really been doing that much in terms of like procedures and whatnot and prioritizing. They're just like telling people do more work and whatnot. I've been calling a few of my friends and seeing, hey, how are you doing? How's pharmacy for you? And a lot of them just feel super, super overworked. It's actually really quite sad. I mean, I've been expressing this sentiment over and over again as well. So, yeah. Um, and it's really interesting. It's really, I mean, I don't have a problem with people like with vaccines and stuff like that, but if you're not going to provide protections as well, like I think that is a major problem as well. So Apple is rumored to have the iPhone 9 released on March. Now there's rumors that will be released online April 15th. I heard a lot of things about Apple because usually there's a lot lines outside for Apple as well. And so I know people have been trying to do, they've been doing an online launch Do you think the beer virus is evening out the females? What a dark twist, Armor Ghost. San Francisco company Centrovax has a promising COVID. I heard by the way, I heard there was like a bunch of companies trying to launch a vaccine relatively soon as well. This is per my wife, the brains of our household. I'm worried about the lawsuit against the chains too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure a lot of pharmacies, like, I'm pretty sure that the pharmacy chains have kind of calculated out that they're most likely going to get sued. Um, it sucks though because they haven't made any changes to their policies or procedures or things. I understand, it's not going to happen overnight, but we've been kind of dealing. It's been a really really slow response with everything, and I'm not even sure if like the companies like Walgreens and all that as well. I know CVS did some like did some made some small changes as well. Wow, I'm getting downvoted like crazy. I guess the trolls are here. Good. More engagement for me. Um okay, Walgreens. Let's take a look at PPE for Walgreens. PPE. Wow, I just typed in P. I'm trying to look at Walgreens. Let's see if there's any sort of benefits for pharmacists. Like, I know CVS has been doing it, but I have not seen any articles on Walgreens giving anything at all. Um, let's see. Dr. Lee says I read peripheral reports about estrogen being having virus protective qualities. However, I believe that they moved away from that argument. I don't think male or female has any bearing. I wonder, like, I'm sure there's a lot of rumors about um what this virus really, in terms of like, oh, I know Joe Rogan. I mean, obviously Joe Rogan is a really smart guy, but he also does not have a background in any sort of healthcare type of thing as well. Um, he's been saying like, oh, blood type might be a factor. They're saying estrogen, but I feel like there's a lot of speculation about the different trends and whatnot as well for this virus. So a lot of the deaths, I wonder if there's a lot more males that are passing away from it rather than females, but maybe that's why they kind of backed away from that as well. So interesting stuff. Also, on another front, what's interesting, store manager playing down COVID-19. I am livid. I just got into an argument with my store manager. We said that COVID is way. We said that. I think they meant who said COVID was way overblown and crippling the economy for no reason. Said more people have died from the flu, AIDS, heart disease, and we don't really have that much to worry about. I had to keep myself from strangling him. No matter what I said, he would not believe that this is really a global pandemic, and even chuckling at the face. Really just need an event, because I know he's not the only one with that opinion, but he's so ignorant and dangerous. I'm mad, and that this is from a store manager. So interesting as well. Um, Man, it's really really interesting to see kind of like the ignorance of a lot of people as well. Like, even, I mean, if it's that bad where it's shutting down our economy, I think it's something not to laugh lightly at. I wonder how much Hong Kong real estate is now. Leslie Clarkson says, "What's up, Dr. Yi? What's up? How you guys doing?" Um, let's see. Uh, the that virus sure did stamp out a revolution, didn't it? It's pretty interesting, man. Like, us, can you believe it? In a situation like Hong Kong back in the day, just a few months ago, they were rioting like crazy, and then this virus pretty much blew it up. It's really interesting. I saw a Al Jazeera post. I think it was released like maybe 3 days ago, like the video, but mentioned nothing about coronavirus or anything like that. So I just thought it was really interesting as well. It's kind of slowed down the whole uh it's slowed down like that, the festival where you visit the graves and stuff like that as well. It pretty much slowed it down in China. They're doing like an online memorial for like the fallen and stuff like that. So pretty interesting stuff there as well. Um, let's see. Anything else? I was looking at more topics as well, but there's nothing else really interesting in terms of like the terms of the pharmacy world. See something about cloth masks. Oh, and I think this is what somebody earlier was talking about in terms of the cloth mask as well. But can't believe the CDC is recommended house made masks. I see people with like weird things like ski masks and all that sort of stuff as well. So pretty interesting stuff. Uh, let's see. Why do chicken little people keep citing how easy it is for the virus to infect you when the real danger if it kills or cripples you? That is true. I mean, here's the thing. I have a feeling that we're all gonna get it at some point, right? If it is that rapid, like if it is that bad, um, I'm pretty sure that we'll all get it. It's just like really we just don't want it to kill us or have a reduced like reaction to the virus as well, right? That's what I'm thinking as well. Are you guys planning to buy real estate? It might be super cheap after a few months. It probably will. I've been reading a lot about like the REITs and stuff. So the I've been reading a lot of stories like they're saying that the housing market might crash actually pretty soon. Actually, one of the REITs that I was gonna buy but I didn't. NYMT uh is actually like falling like crazy right now. It's not doing too hot. Like even this is like one of the REITs. It's actually stayed really stable for the last like 10 years pretty much as well. So if you look at the max, right? This is just sorry. Well, back in 2005 it was really high, but if we look at the last 5 years, relatively the same for most part, right? And even up until this point, until this year, bam, look at that. Look at that. That's a huge drop. It's almost when it shoots back up, it's gonna be really solid. But man, it's a dollar per share. So pretty interesting stuff as well. Uh, Armors Go says really like I can buy a cheap condo for 50K, kind of cheap. Walgreens putting in a video employee training platform featuring the company's chief medical officer explaining why you should not wear a mask at work. Potential lawsuit in my book. Yeah, I see that happening. And I hope one of these companies actually gets sued. Like really, it just shows you kind of like corporate interests, right? I mean, I think I was listening to an episode of Joe Rogan earlier, and they were saying that um and they were saying that they're saying that like when you are a director of a company or a CEO or anything like that, you have to kind of put two different hats because it might not always be in the best in the public interest or America's interest. You got to do what's best for the company. And that's a real huge problem, right? And that's why we're seeing that's why we're seeing so much of this mud BS, bro, too. Wonder what rents might be. I bet San Francisco would still be high though. Yeah, San Francisco is always high too. Too many technology companies there. Yeah. San Fran is really interesting. I was watching that so the other day on my detox my dopamine rest not binge day, but I take one day a week where I kind of let myself watch any videos, go through anything as well. And I was watching like always always be my maybe or whatever. That was really that I rewatched it. The first time I was like, okay, this is a cool movie, but the second time was a lot better, and I was like, holy shit, they take so many jabs at San Francisco, like hipsters and stuff like that too. So it's pretty funny stuff. Bam, the investing podcast by Dr. Kevin Yee. You know what's really interesting was that um I haven't, not to say I haven't been interested in investing, but honestly, like investing has been a love, not love hate relationship, but it's been kind of boring once you kind of not master it, but once you have like the central basics of it, then you don't really worry about the market too much. Like I'm not worried about the market crash. Here's the truth. I think you said this, or someone said this on one of my live streams before. Like if the American market tanks, then guess what? It means two things: your American dollar doesn't mean anything, or or the market goes up in the long run. So I always believe that the market will go up as well. But also, I know Alex Becker kind of invested a lot into Bitcoin, things like Bitcoin and other stores of value. People are just worried. There's a like on the deep forums and stuff like that. There's a sentiment. There's a worry that there is a worry that the dollar might be useless as well. So if you take a look at things like Bitcoin and stuff, and let me just open it really quick. If you take a look at Bitcoin and stuff, it's actually even within the last what say last month, it's been fluctuating quite a bit, and it's been fluctuating quite a bit as well. So if people, I mean, it's going to be a huge gamble if you buy something like Bitcoin. Keep in mind, Bitcoin is something like Bitcoin is like really tax unfriendly, and it's not even the best store of value, because here's the thing: it keeps on fluctuating so much that who knows whether, like, we're just hoping that it will start growing in the future, but it could just fall flat on its ass to the whole project as well. Um, Armor Ghost is asking, are millennials still not marrying? Retail is so used to lawsuits, they think that they're doing something wrong if they aren't being sued every day. You know what? I wonder if, like, here's the thing. I wonder if people actually believe that I wonder if people actually believe whether like the people at the top, I wonder if they're really making these considerations of doing what's right, like at the end of the day, it's ethically, it's really bad, and I think it's going to be a really bad branding move on these huge companies. I hate to say it. I wouldn't want any of my friends to get hurt or anything like that because of poor leadership, but this is definitely not a good way to lead people during dark times. And man, it's just really tough. I've always felt like a lot of these big companies like CVS actually had really poor leadership within it, because part of leadership, like what I've seen from great leaders, is people taking care of their people, right? Alex Becker is a really interesting example of that, because when the economy was just starting to take a hit, he said, first thing, I'm not firing anyone. We'll figure out a way, but I, as a business owner, needs to take a hit. Needs to take a hit. I'm going to be taking the hit, and I think and Ramit Sethi is the same way. You see this pattern of people taking care of their employees, because here's the thing. I mean, you can go Walgreens, you can go CVS, you can go anywhere, right? But what really sells people to make people want to come back? Typically in a community pharmacy. Oh, guess what? It's always the people working in the pharmacy. They like their pharmacists. They like the staff that they work with every single day, right? That's what that's what sells. It's not all these like clinical programs at the end of the day, right? Although they're nice, right? I'm not saying that they don't help sell, but really what keeps people at a pharmacy is because they trust that person that's behind the counter specifically for them. And I feel like it's just it's just really interesting. And you see a lot of these big companies, they don't really take care of their people whatsoever and just throw them on their ass, right? So just it's really sad, honestly. uh Armor Ghost is asking more questions. to Dr. Lee, why are prescription medications so expensive? Why am I still not marrying? Dude, I would never, like, honestly, in my life right now, I would not consider getting married whatsoever. Especially if you're not religious. Like for me, I'm not religious whatsoever, but I'm not planning to get married or anything like that as well. So, blame it on the PBM. Look up Mac in in pricing legislation. For the first time, we'll see marriages in hazmat suits. Dude, like Armored, you're thinking too last century, bro. We're gonna be having marriages on Zoom, bro. You just get the you just get the bride and groom and everyone that they want to invite to their Zoom room. But it's gonna be expensive. You gotta pay for Zoom webinar if you want to have 100 plus people. By the way, speaking about speaking about like Zoom, have you guys seen like some of the funny Zoom like fails as well? Like people bombing Zoom rooms and whatnot is really funny. That's why for me, like I always have waiting room enabled on my Zoom. I've been using Zoom for the last like maybe 2 to 3 years actually. So I've been using that a lot. It's not a new tool for me, but it's funny to see how people are still learning how to use it. Saw people like forgetting to turn off their camera, right? Especially if you're taking a dump or anything like that. You definitely want to make sure. I mean, here's the thing, right? If you're on a business meeting or anything like that, you probably should not be showering or taking a dump or anything like that. You know, have I showered during a meeting that I didn't want to be in? Yes, I have, but I always make sure, hey, guess what? Instead of leaving my camera like this, you go put it down like that, and then you go do that, right? Or just leave the meeting. I do that all the time. So, interesting. Um, I'm most worried about the wedding night gimp suits. There's also WeChat for video weddings too. That's true, but do you really want she to be watching, man? So you know, it's really interesting how Zoom just kind of like blew up. I love Zoom. Zoom is one of my favorite things. I actually shoot all my interviews on Zoom as well. So really great stuff. I'm glad to see that's going more mainstream. Damn, look at this dislike ratio, bro. Looks like the trolls are like coming in my room and bombing it. By the way, guys, I've been getting freaking harassed every single day by these by I don't know if it's one person, group of people, whatever, but literally I've been getting harassed every single day. And it's just really funny, man. Like, dude, I like I've been getting these bots on my freaking Instagram, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it doesn't really bother me. I just ask my assistant, hey, just block everyone, just block everyone, and just report it to Instagram or YouTube and all that. So just doing that, man. Uh, what else? Is there anything else that you want to talk about? I got a few more minutes. I'll stick around for like 3 more minutes, by the way. So why is Zoom taking off? Ease of use. Well, Zoom is really great because pretty high quality in terms of the rooms. Yes, it's super easy. People can just click a link and they can join from either a web browser or they can download the app to join. And I don't know. It's just like a lot more. You don't need to. It's really easy. I mean, I actually have a private like my Zoom room. I actually got a URL and I have it redirecting straight to my Zoom room. So anytime somebody wants to Zoom with me, I'll do that. And then I have a waiting room so I can admit the right people. And because you just never know. I mean, if you leave your room open, that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to, like for this channel, I never opened up my Zoom room because if you have the ID, then anybody can just hop in at any time unless you have waiting room enabled. So highly recommend doing something like waiting room as well. Um, Kevin Armored Ghost says you get hit by bots. Yeah, I am. Like, I don't know if it's bots or one person, but it's ridiculous. It's like borderline. It's pretty much harassment at this point. Like, I was thinking like, okay, do I really want to take legal action? Like at this point, send a cease and desist and all that. But then I was just like, you know what? That's kind of taking me off my focus. I'll just like automate this out and just not worry about it. So actually have a VA that's going to be taking care of all that sort of stuff as well. But whatever, man. I don't know what people like. I don't know what this specific person or specific people have against me, to be honest with you. But who knows? I mean, it's the internet. Like, not everybody's gonna like your opinion. I've kind of accepted that too, like a while ago, right? When I jumped on this platform. So yeah, man, harassment is real, and it's actually kind of made me realize too, like, dude, if you're getting harassed, it is not easy on this platform or any platform to report harassment or get people, hold people accountable as well, right? Like, it's not okay to harass people online. It's not okay to bully people online. It's not okay to talk shit online without showing your face. If you want to talk shit, like, dude, set up a real profile and just take accountability of it. If I ever talk shit about someone, it'd be online. Like, you know who I am. I'm held accountable. But that's the thing with a lot of these online platforms, is that it's so easy to create another account, and then you can. There's all these like fake accounts out there too, right? Guarantee you, like, a lot of these accounts aren't real, because if I was that famous, that would be a good problem to have. But I guarantee you, like, it's probably like one or two people who have a lot of bots or something like that, and they're sending it my way. So that's why I've been getting hit with. What are your favorite subreddits? Favorite subreddits? I would say I like Shower Thoughts a lot. Shower Thoughts is I'm pretty new to Reddit, by the way. So Shower Thoughts is really great. I've been checking out our pharmacy for this channel. I've been looking at our um what other, like, I'll show you guys. I think if I have Reddit up, I should have Reddit up. Where is it? Uh, let's see. Take a look at Refugee Hustle. What are my? How do I see my subreddits? Is it user settings? I think so. Let's see. Is it feed settings? Adult content I have on. So funny. um, yeah, I can't find my subreddits. Oh yeah, no, I just have to click. Yeah, dude, I just see what comes up in the feed. But hold on for a second. Um, hold on. Just give me a second, guys. My computer's like lagging a bit. I gotta install Catalina on my new Mac. I just bought all these new programs. Um, let's see. So on my refuge, I have two different Reddit accounts, but if you go here, maybe you guys can see it. Is it bullshit? Personal finance, sales, um, quarter life crisis, get disciplined, some YouTube stuff. I have some marketing stuff too. I love Shower Thoughts. Shower Thoughts is one of my favorite. Data is beautiful. I like battle stations too, like relationship advice. You should know, eye bleach, stuff like that. So that's kind of like some of the subreddits I actually follow as well. So they couldn't lower Kevin's social credit score, so they gave him thumbs down instead. It's pretty funny how many thumbs down I've been getting, but I'm sure you guys can tell, because like over the last what few videos I've just been getting harassed like crazy. I'm not sure, Seton, I know that you're a mod for this channel. Did you see any like comments and stuff go through? I didn't see any. So do you think Sherry Tongue would clean up by streaming herself playing video games and collecting super chats? Oh man, Cherry Tongue. Yeah, dude, she got a lot of back flack on the millionaire video that she had recently. But I mean, I was talking about it with some of my other friends, and I was just like, that, like, I obviously people are gonna get really mad, because unless you, I know you're like, that's the thing about really clickbaity titles, is that it gets clicks, but just because you get clicks doesn't mean that it it's valuable content for the rest of the people, right? um you can't, misleading content will piss off people more than anything. And so it's just like, you know I know Cherry, I don't know how long Cherry's been on YouTube for a while, but those are just some of my thoughts. I was like, oh, I'm not surprised. That was my first reaction, right? And it's like, dude, you just have to be very careful with clickbait and whatnot as well, like especially with the titles. Kevin, you are a maverick. You will always have enemies, and it's the right thing. Thanks, Dr. Lee. I'm gonna screenshot that from my thank you folder. Yeah. I wonder if like truly am I a maverick that much though? I think I'm pretty like I don't think I think I'm different, right? Where I do question a lot of things, right? Whether things are like traditional thought I always question, right? Like should I do pharmacy? Most Asian parents will tell you absolutely do it. I'm just like why, right? Like that's the number one thing I think of all the time. Even when people want to do more work, I'm just like I take a step back and I'm just like, well, why are we doing this? And I don't know, maybe it's because of my consulting friend Tom, who really instilled that in me because I was always under impression of doing more, doing more, doing more, and I still need to check myself every once in a while. Like that's why this week when I went on the dopamine detox, I've never felt more clear about my purpose, what I really want to do in this time. And one of the things I want to do is just make kick-ass investing one of the best things. It's been on the back burner for so long where I wasn't very passionate about it. But here's the thing, passion doesn't just because you're not passionate about it doesn't mean that you can't build a kick-ass product, right? And I want to build one of the world class investing product where it'll help the average investor. The more people who invest, the better our economy is, the more options it'll give you in the long run. Now, well, do I believe in that a Roth IRA and taxable accounts and all that will really build financial confidence? Not necessarily, right? But what I do believe is that it will open up more options. It actually opened up the option for me to start my own business. But I think real financial confidence, by the way, is starting up your own business where you aren't reliant on a thing. But you can't like, let's say if your goal is to build an 8-figure business, you're not gonna hit your first 8-figure business off the whim. You need experience, you need to be great at things. And I think over the last few years, like the reason why I dialed back like Hustle Academy and stuff like that was just because, okay, how long have I really been um doing this life? And it's only been about 2 years. How long have I been doing closing? Well, about 1 year. Is Are you good? Yeah, I am good. I'm dangerous. I'm good enough where I can compete with the top people in the industry, right? But no, by no means am I a master or whatnot. I'm like a blue belt, right? Like at a lot of things. But one of the things that I have been really doing for a long time is actually investing. That is one thing, the one consistent habit I've always been doing. And I can confidently say that, I know how to invest. I know I can learn anything about investing really, really quickly if I really wanted to. Now, do I know every nook and cranny about investing? No, but I know how to get started really freaking quick and the easiest wins that will help most people. And so that's where I feel super passionate. And I'm taking a lot of entrepreneurial skills that I learned to help influence people in doing a good thing for themselves, right? I do not believe in selling one-off products and stuff like that as well. I bought so many products online where they didn't fulfill, and I don't want to be one of them. And since I've already started kick-ass investing, I want to see it to its completion and make sure that I provide all the updated tools that trust me, I've seen almost everything online these days, and I want to build a kick-ass product as well. It's just more annoying and meant to test and distract, challenge it, let your focus, like you said. It resonates with me, and I'm trying to embrace this more um unapologetically. Kevin Yee. Yeah, I mean, trolls and all that, like, they suck, but it really tests you whether it's more of annoyance more than anything. And I have to think, like, dude, I mean, that's why I don't really check my comments that much, because of the distraction. Like, I can't allow things like bad comments or trolls to really affect my mental state, right? And so it builds more grit. That's how I look at it. The more I can resist, the more that um that's why things like it's kind of like hippie and shit, but that's why I do affirmations every single morning. Just to keep me on my focus. Think about why I'm doing certain things by responding to a certain troll or giving public attention to a troll, what is that doing? Is that going to help me start my business? No, right? It's just a distraction of everything. So it's been really helping me build this pretty much stoic mentality as well, right? So yeah, and plus you can't help everyone as well. Um, hey, says taste and travel. He was rated. Yolo says I'm with you. What's the drama here? I have no idea, Yolo. So yeah, I've heard about this 5G thing too. Actually, one of my good friends is really believes in it. For me, it's just like 5G or not, people are getting sick and we got to diagnose why, right? As well. So anyways, let's see. Any final comments? I said I was just stay on for 3 more minutes as well. But yeah, man, that's kind of like what I've been up to recently as well. Such is the way of things and temporary hiccup. Kevin said earlier he'll automate a solution probably. Yeah, and I really don't want to go down the legal route of doing cease and desist and all that sort of stuff. Like that's I don't think that helps anyone, to be honest with you, and it's not worth like thinking going down that route. Um so I just decided just to hire a VA just to handle all my comments and all that sort of stuff too. So probably gonna go down that route. I think yeah. So helping emergency responders overcome emergency situations here act of 2020. Did you see this, bro? Actually, I saw it in Reddit. Somebody actually did. Uh, thanks, Taste and Travel, for having keeping me on a little longer. No, but you did bring up a good point. I did see it earlier. Let me clear a bunch of my browser things because it's slowing down right now. Let's go. Heroes Act. Heroes 2020. Let's take a look at Heroes really quick. Feel like we're playing I saw it in the Reddit pharmacy group, by the way. Huge if it passes. I hope it. Give me, while I'm looking this up, give me the 411, man. I'm just looking for. I saw this literally like in the Reddit not too long ago. Um, well, let's take a look at it. By the way, interesting stuff. Well, I'm gonna digress a little bit, but I also saw this COVID-19 support group on Facebook. I just actually subscribed to it. I haven't even looked at it, but if anybody's subscribed to this farms Facebook Reddit group, that would be interesting too. Um, let's see. Heroes Act 2020. Let's take a look. Well, there is an article by APHA pharmacist.com. Let's take a look at it. House.gov. Heroes Act. The original bill only applied to physicians, nurses, PAs, nurse practitioners, hospital, medical. Wow, pharmacists. Pharmacists were forgotten, obviously. It would suspend tax withholding for 4 months and give U.S. Department Treasury Secretary the authority to extend withholding for additional 3 months. The tax holiday would apply to all that with the income up to 150K annually, and with income beyond that tax status regular rate. It's a way to say thank you. Yeah, really think I really think it's needed, especially like during these times, especially with corporate not really helping people out as well. So Really interesting. No Fed tax for 4 months for people in frontline. Pharmacist wasn't in the bill. Now they added pharmacists. That's really great. I hope they do. It's going to be really great for a lot of like the people on the front lines as well. So cool, guys. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna start publishing my articles, start publishing all that. Just want to thank you guys for the support, man. Really appreciate it, especially those giving positive vibes recently, man. Really, really, really appreciate it. I am going to start doing videos again on my channel, and really like after I get out some not filler content, some of the older videos out, what I want to do is just focus one video a week. I'll still do these live streams as well, but really put more focus and intensity on one sort of topic and things that I like talking about, man. I love productivity hacks. I love reviewing cool tech and stuff like that, but I'm only going to allow myself to do one video a week. So we're gonna see what happens, man. I'm really digging this minimalistic like dopamine detox lifestyle as well. So those are just some of my thoughts, and just stop focusing on doing so much and focusing on the quality of the work as well. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace, mother people.